Oi kids, Slacker Kite here, continuing with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today we are playing A Boy and His Blob, and this is a bad game. Some of you may wonder, I've heard enough about this game. Isn't this one of... No, there's worse. There's far worse. But this is a bad game, and I'll show you why. Alright, starting out, you're just this boy, and you have a blob. And, yeah. That's all you start out with. And the music is just this on repeat. Now, I'll have to say, I think actually the background here isn't the worst thing ever. It's kind of an alright touch. You have to have money to hit the health food store as well, and we seem to have lost the blob somewhere. There you are, buddy. So, the idea of A Boy and His Blob is you have a bunch of jelly beans, and each jelly bean is kind of a pun on what you can do with them. B calls your blob, and then this button lets him eat. So, tangerine is trampoline. That's a fairly simple one. It allows you to jump higher. Whistling calls him to you. And actually, tangerine trampoline is probably one of the most used things in the game. So already, you're probably wondering where to go. Okay, so you find the subway. And this is, you know, okay, fairly obvious here. We want to go somewhere in the subway. So, you know, let's run through the subway here. And we find a wall. Okay, this should be the point where you should say to yourself, okay, game. Obviously, you have to do something. And probably with my blob, who... Where the hell is Blob? Blob! There he is. Come on, buddy. Alright. So, we need to punch a hole in the ground in order to go down. You see where I'm getting here with this? Hey guy, have a jelly bean. Cool. Alright, come with me, Blob. Now, your goal at this point of the game is to collect treasure, and first off, you may notice as well, the boy, like, I'm hitting right and letting go, and he just skids when he comes off of a run. It's ridiculous. But, yes, so we need to get upstairs, and I do believe that is licorice. Licorice ladder, from what I remember. There you go. I probably should have brought a cheat sheet with me here on this, but... How much fun would that be? Oh look, we got 1,000 gold. Come on, buddy. But now you're back to the same problem. Well, what do? There was a floor, right? So you fell through the floor to get here. I guess I could go down further. And just wasted jelly bean there by accident. So yeah, how about we just go down a little bit? Come on, buddy. Make a hole for me, and we'll just go further down. Catch! Catch, you dumb little thing. Okay, so we actually made it through. I kind of thought I was going to die on that. But, yeah, that's, it's a fairly... It's a puzzle game. If you treat it like that, it's not as terrible of a game. And it's a very unforgiving puzzle game. You want to collect treasures, like we see here, and... Okay, you have to stand perfectly in the middle of that guy in order for him to jump over your head, and what is considered middle is a little bit difficult. There isn't much of a way to kill enemies in this game. There we go. Can I make it back under him? Yeah, alright. So, moving forward here. You find yourself with a ledge. What do I do now? Well, I guess I need to interact with the blob. That wasn't what I meant to do. Let's see. We need... what do we need? Licorice's ladder, Strawberry. Buddy, what does strawberry do again? Strawberry bridge. I don't really get that one. Coconut is cola. Flamethrower. Apple. What does apple do again? Apple Jacks. Okay, I get that pun. Vanilla. What do you do with vanilla? That's what I'm looking for. Vanilla umbrella. Yeah. This allows you to fall without taking fall damage. Which, makes fairly, fair amount of sense. And now we need to break through that, which we want cinnamon for. Alright, take this. And hey look, blowtorch to get rid of that with. Now to remember the trick to get through this. Vanilla was tangerine. What does tangerine do again? See, this is exactly the thing. Everything here is a bit of a puzzle here, and you have to kind of figure out what the best way around it is. What is honey? Hummingbird. I don't think that's going to help us out here, like, at all. I don't even remember what hummingbird is actually good for. Coconut, cola, cinnamon, apple. You know what? I think umbrella helps out here. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why umbrella stops boulders from falling on your head. And you have to move kind of slowly, otherwise that happens. But let's get back our vanilla umbrella if the boy will stop running as unwieldy as humanly possible. I think one of the main problems with the Boy and the Blob is it probably was a bit more ambitious than the ability of the developers. I mean, obviously they're not able to get a good running stop mechanic. Mario also had a little bit of skidding after you came out of a full run, but it was manageable to get out of that. Meanwhile, this game, not so much. And that's another part of just the overall problem, is that there are just points in this game that are entirely undecipherable and just unfair like that. I mean, yeah, just take a look with your own eyes. If you move in a way that the game just doesn't want you to, you're dead. You're dead. That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. Let's see if we can at least get past this. Now, if you actually sit down and you can pull up a walkthrough, get the information on how to get past this, maybe saves come your way a bit through here. It's kind of charming. And I never played. There's a re-release that came out a few years ago. I want to say 4 or so years ago. That was, kind of watercolor, a bit charming. It wasn't bad. But, yeah, this game is actually pretty bad. Alright, so, Blob. We need a bridge. And I believe it was Vanilla Bridge. No, Vanilla Umbrella. Ah. See, and that's another problem with this game, is that it's very easy to just forget which thing your blob is actually supposed to be doing. Alright, come back, Blob. Now we need to fall down again, so we need Vanilla Umbrella. As we fall further into the catacomb. Okay, so now we see ourselves with another. We see we have treasure we can get to. What do we do? Come out of. Well, hey, we jump for it, right? Holding up makes you go higher. You want to be careful about it as well, because it will keep going higher until you say win is too high, and then murder your face meats. Because, yes, this game has falling damage. It is unfair in all the wrong ways. Okay, I believe that was a strawberry bridge. Good boy, good boy. I do love how he looks happy after you give him some jelly beans, but then after a while, if you don't feed him long enough, he gets this sad look on his face, like you know, any poor fat kid who has gone way too long without candy. Candy is indeed dandy. No, hey, he missed it and now he's sad. Well, your fault for moving. Stand still next time that I throw candy at your general direction. Alright, so pretty much this is the game. You have to go down, and then you have to go all the way back up to get back up to the top. It's it's not terribly long, but it is frustrating enough that it really isn't worth the time or effort to do it. I might link to the bottom to Frankomatic actually did a fairly good playthrough of the entirety of A Boy and His Blob. And, you know, once you know entirely what you're doing, it's not a terrible game, but the mechanics stand in your way. It's not very intuitive. Overall, it's not an ugly game, and a lot of people will give it credit as being one of the worst games for the NES. It's really not. It's fairly playable if you know, take it for what it is. It's a game with a very steep learning curve that you have to play with, but for the good, bad, and the ugly, this was A Boy and His Blob, and A Boy and His Blob is a bad game.